16 people feared killed by terrorist bomb in Borno. PDP National Executive Committee extends the Magun's tenure amidst simmering crisis. EFCC declares Yahya Bello wanted over alleged 80.2 billion naira fraud. On the international scene, Kenyan defense chief senior officers die in helicopter crash. Hello and welcome to the News Hour on Trust Television. I am Aisha Salihu, and now the news in full. No fewer than 16 persons were feared dead and 20 others injured when a commercial vehicle plying the Kukawa road in Kukawa local government area of Borno State drove over an improvised explosive device suspected to have been planted by ISWAP terrorists. Military intelligence sources told Zagazola Makama, a counter-insurgency expert and security analyst in the Lake Chad region, that the incident occurred on Wednesday, April 17. Although Makama reported 10 feared dead, sources said no fewer than 16 were reportedly killed. Spokesman of the 7th Division Nigerian Army, Lieutenant Colonel Ajemuso Jingina, declined comments on the incident. A Maiduguri-based security expert, Abdullahi Abubakar, has meanwhile raised concerns over the resurgence of sporadic attacks by ISWAP across the Lake Chad Basin. And now joining us via phone call to give us an update is Daily Trust Northeast Bureau Chief Hamisu Matazu. Thank you so much for joining us, Hamisu.
Thank you. Good evening.
Now, I'd like to hear from you personally. Has the military confirmed the report of this attack, and what can you tell us about the reported casualties?
Well, actually, we tried to get an update from from Jingina, that's the spokesman of the 7th Deep. But he said that he cannot speak on that because he has not got him enough information to give. Meanwhile, the incident happened under Sector 3, sorry, under Sector 3 at Borno. And we tried reaching out to the spokesman there of the Sector 3. But, there is no network in Monguno. You can only reach them through WhatsApp. We tried getting him, but we couldn't. Meanwhile, what exactly happened was, you already mentioned how it happened. They ran over the IED that was planted by suspected Boko Haram or ISWAP members. And based on security report, it was targeted at the troops of the Sector 3. Unfortunately, the commercial vehicle ran over it, and 10 people were injured and almost 20. 10 people were killed and almost 20 were injured. So far, this is the update I can give.
Okay, I know you have stated that you cannot provide us with further information regarding confirmation from the military as efforts to reach them to confirm this event has proven abortive, but I'd like to hear from you. I mean, there's recent upsurge of terrorist attacks, and it suggests that there is a resurgence of Boko Haram activities. What can you tell us about that?
We cannot quickly say that because recently we can say that the attacks have subsided. But there is a new turn to it because most incidents that happen recently are IEDs, explosions. And they are mostly targeted at commercial vehicles that fly roads from Baga in the northern part of the state and even some part of the southern part of the state on the fringes of Sabisa. So what we can say is that the nature of attacks by the insurgents has now turned using IEDs to perpetrate the crimes. So we cannot quickly say there is resurgence because I think most times when they resorted to IED's attacks, no much damages are being caused, and it's telling that the military gaining over the insurgents.
As much as we can't reach a conclusion about whether we have a resurgence of Boko Haram activities, I'd like to hear from you. We know that these particular incidents always have a ripple effect on residents. I'd like to hear from you. How are the residents reacting to this particular development?
Come again?
I'd like to hear from you. How are the residents reacting to this development?
Well, if you ask people there, they are complaining bitterly about, in some places, like people do call me from Baga, telling me how they are encountering a lot of security threats, not only by the Boko Haram insurgents, but also by herdsmen, that usually encroach on the irrigation farms. So I think the military has to sit off, especially in those areas where people are complaining and the insurgents are taking advantage of maybe areas where security are not present and to perpetrate such crimes.
Okay, thank you so much. That was Hamisu Matazu, Daily Trust Northeast Bureau Chief. Thank you so much for bringing us up to speed on the latest information regarding this development.
Thank you.
More on security matters. Some residents of Borno State on Wednesday took to the streets, calling on the federal and state governments to save their lands from incessant attacks by suspected herders. The protesting residents say their people can no longer access their farmlands and ancestral homes for fear of losing their lives. Trust TV's Jimmy Azande has details of this report.
Most of the victims of the killer herdsmen, they say, are adults and youthful males who are mostly breadwinners of their respective families.
Our husbands have been targeted, have been killed, leaving us to cater for our children, which is not easy for us. If you go to most of these IDP camps, it's women that are staying there.
And we have reported, and it appears there is a third system. We are living under a third system, right from the federal down to the local government. Nothing, the efforts are not being made to rescue our people from what they are going through.
Some of the protesting residents say they have been displaced from their ancestral homes since 2018, with many still living in IDP camps. They want the federal and state governments to protect their lands, which they say have become a theater of war.
When we lose a person, we have to go and pay the military money to take us to go and bury such people. If we want to go to the farm, we have to go and pay the military to protect us to go and do the farm work. Enough is enough. And we're making these demands that the government at the level of state and federal should immediately come to our aid.
We need security that will protect lives and property. We don't need security that will be destroying life. The security we need here, we need civil defense and MOPO. I think those ones will help us.
Gwer West and Agatu local governments have continued to record cases of attacks in spite of security charges from the state and federal governments. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makodi.
Away from security matters and now to political matters, the 98th National Executive Committee meeting of the PDP concluded in Abuja with a consensus to extend the tenure of the current leadership under Ilia Damagun until August 15th, when a national convention will be convened. Held at the PDP headquarters, Wadata Plaza, the meeting saw 373 members in attendance, including the 2023 presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar. Additionally, the Assembly endorsed the establishment of disciplinary and reconciliation committees to tackle anti-party activities and foster unity in preparation for upcoming elections. Trustee Vice Shafiu Suleiman reports.
The NEC meeting, which was attended by chieftains of the party across all organs, task leaders, critical stakeholders and members of the PDP to close ranks and put aside personal or group interests and work together to support the efforts at repositioning the party.
We will recognize the fact that the Nigerian people are with us and we have resolved to remain united, to focus on the party and the people, because democracy can live in the moment where we, the PDP, that people believe in the democracy and all the way together.
The meeting, which also approved the extension of the life of the Party Constitution Amendment Committee, commended the efforts of the National Working Committee for rebranding the party and producing a new logo which will be widely accepted by the party members and Nigerians.
You can see everyone is here. All the expectation of the agitation and everything. With them, look ourselves in one step in the right direction.
While assessing the current state of the nation, the PDP NEC demands that President Tinubu should rejig his economic team to bring in persons of proven integrity and competence without bias and vested interests to assist in repositioning the economy, just as it commended all organs of the party for speaking with one voice irrespective of existing differences.
No dissension, there was no wrongful, there was no division as anticipated or expected. It was planned that we would have an implosion or explosion. PDP is more than that. We have gone beyond all these idiosyncrasies, all this manifestation of inaptitude. We are a party that is united and guided by experience and constitutionality and good governance.
Presidential candidate of the party, Atiku Abubakar, in the last election and former governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, believed to be behind the struggle for the soul of the party, attended the meeting, which also has in attendance members of the BOT National Assembly, including past and present governors. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
More on politics. A federal high court in Kano has halted the purported suspension of the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Abdullahi Ganduje, by his word. The ruling came late on Wednesday after Ganduje filed an ex parte motion seeking to enforce his fundamental right to a fair hearing. The respondents in the application are the police, the Department of State Services, the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, and 9 other individuals. Recall that on Monday, April 16, APC executives in Dawakin Ward, Tofa local government area of Kano State, purportedly suspended the APC national chairman over alleged corruption. Subsequently, the State Working Committee of the APC nullified the suspension and sanctioned the Ward executives with a month suspension. In the ex parte order delivered on Wednesday by the court and made available to newsmen on Thursday, the judge, A.M. Lehman, said the purported suspension should not be implemented until the case is heard and determined. The court subsequently fixed April 30 to hear Ganduje's appeal. The ruling All Progressives Congress has petitioned the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, asking him to go after 9 suspects believed to have masterminded the suspension of its national chairman, Abdullahi Ganduje, at the ward level in Kano State. The 2-page petition, which was made available to journalists on Thursday, was written by the APC National Legal Advisor, Abdul Karim Kana. The development comes in the wake of a court order secured by Ganduje at the Federal High Court in Kano to halt his purported suspension. The ruling was given on Wednesday after Ganduje filed an ex parte motion seeking to enforce his fundamental rights to a fair hearing. But on Thursday's petition, Kana identified 9 alleged imposters who he claimed were behind the false suspension pronouncement, and further urged Egbetokun to arrest and probe their involvement in the suspension. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has declared former governor of Kogi State, Yahya Bello, wanted over alleged financial crime to the tune of 80.2 billion naira. The FCC made this known in a Thursday evening post on its Facebook page captioned "Ex-Governor Yahya Bello wanted by the EFCC." It called on those with vital information about the former governor's whereabouts to reach the commission or the police. Meanwhile, indications emerged this Thursday that the anti-graft agency is planning to liaise with the military high command to arrest the former governor of Kogi State, who evaded its arrest on Wednesday. Bello, who was being trailed by the EFCC over alleged 84 billion naira fraud, was smuggled out of his residence located at number 9 Benghazi Street in Wuse Zone 4, Abuja, by his successor, Usman Ododo. A highly placed official at the defense headquarters on Thursday said the military might consider the proposal when approached in the interest of the nation, adding that there is an existing interagency collaboration. Also on Thursday, Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court, Abuja, adjourned the suit instituted by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission against the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yahya Bello, to April 23rd. The adjournment is for substituted service and possible arraignment of Bello for alleged money laundering. At the resumed sitting, counsel for the EFCC, Kemi Finro, told the court that Bello was absent from court for his arraignment because he was being protected by someone with immunity.
Section 12 of AJA also allows a law enforcement agent to break down any premises where a defendant may be hiding. And so the state will invoke all its powers within the law to ensure that it's produced in court for the purpose of arraignment and it's in his own interest. So he can come and plead his innocence or he can take his plea as to whatever he wants to say.
And on to the National Assembly. The House Committee on Ports and Harbour on Thursday ordered all terminal operators and the Nigeria Ports Authority agents to forward to it all concessions agreement on development plan, amongst other documents in line with the concession agreement with the Nigeria Ports Authority. Chairman of the committee, Nolim Naji, gave the order during an interactive session with terminal operators in Abuja. The report.
According to Naji, the move aims to promote efficiency and effectiveness while also achieving optimal results in the operations of terminal operators. In her contribution, the Registrar and Chief Executive Officer, Council for the Registration of Freight Forwarders of Nigeria, Urunta Chinyere, advised that all terminal operators should adopt electronic mode of payment to reduce human interface in their operations. 13 operators who attended the hearing pledged to cooperate with the committee to boost revenue generation in the sector.
I also want to know if the concession agreements have been renewed, expired and renewed, because I'm aware that some have been expired and the process of renewal. So I want to know how it was renewed, whether the relevant government agencies that approved the renewal. So these are some of the documents we want to have.
So what we are asking, with their model avoids, there is no human interface at all. So it doesn't give room for leakages and shortfalls. So we are requesting, and most of our stakeholders are here, if they can adopt that model, like every other ones, five-star, GDL, BUA, and the rest of them, many of them, if they go by that PTML model, I think our revenue will be much enhanced than now.
In another development, the Chairman, House of Representatives Committee on Power, Victor Nwokolo, says without a change in tariff, the industry lacks capital to bring the needed change in the power sector. Speaking at a meeting with stakeholders in Abuja, Nwokolo noted that the increase in tariff has been due since 2022 following the population expansion in Nigeria. He noted that the issue of Band A or B is not to discriminate against anybody, adding that areas being covered are beyond what they had estimated in the past. Okoro said as a result, they needed to expand their own networks, which requires more money.
The industry lacks the capital to bring the needed change. Of course, with the population explosion in Nigeria, the areas being covered is beyond what they have estimated in the past. Because they needed to expand their own networks, they also need more money.
The chairman said although the committee has not fully agreed with the stakeholders, they, however, want to get more input and explore the possibility of whether gas can be sold in naira, which is currently sold in dollar. He stressed that while the committee cannot stop the increase in electricity tariffs, the decision can be decided by the House of Representatives.
And they also stress to the installations in terms of security, making the overhead to increase. So these are all the things I have said. But the committee have not fully agreed with them. Or we're not saying yes, we're not saying no. Let's get more inputs.
The committee intends to meet with Discos again next week for further deliberations.
Amidst escalating food crisis and general cost of living, Nigeria loses 30% of its farm produce post-harvest, a challenge that has worsened food insecurity across the country. Nigerian Stored Products Research Institute and its partners organized a post-harvest conference to find lasting solution to the challenge as the largest economy on the African continent faces growing food shortages. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
Nigeria loses a whopping sum of 3.5 trillion naira annually to post-harvest losses, according to a report by ActionAid in 2021. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture says the challenge is one of the factors contributing to the current food crisis in the country. Agriculturalists, researchers, and top government officials converge in Abuja to find a lasting solution to the ever-changing landscape of challenges facing the agriculture sector.
The problem is definitely big because if you look at the percentage of loss, if you take, for example, a particular commodity and we are producing maybe 7 million metric tons and they tell you 20% of that is lost to post-harvest, then you can calculate the loss, not just to the farmers but also to the country. Now that is one side of the story. The other side of the story is that because of that loss, demand will not change, but supply has changed, which means price will go up. So these are the issues, and of course, seeing how the food crisis in the few months that has passed was felt by Nigerians, we have always known that food security is the number one agenda of the country, and the president is totally committed to it.
Through collaboration and partnership, the Nigerian Stored Products Research Institute expresses determination to address post-harvest loss as it holds the first ever Post-Harvest Connect in the country with the theme Scaling Appropriate Post-Harvest Solutions for Sustainable Food and Nutrition Security.
Nigeria as a government, we are ready to partner with all international, regional and national agencies and organizations that have solutions to reduce post-harvest losses, either at the technical level, at the financial level, or at the social level. That's just the main message. Let us connect and work together.
It starts from grains, which will have 20% loss, right up to the worst aspect where you have the fruits and the tuber crops where we have 50% loss. So the statistics is there. We all know the statistics. On the average, we make it 30% because when we put all the crops together, you are hitting at 30%. And 30% is by no means, a very, very serious loss to any nation. Remember that these farmers hold these crops in trust for the country.
The event featured paper presentation, exhibition, and unveiling of an effective grain protectant patented by the Nigerian Stored Products Research Institute. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're watching the News Hour on Trust Television, coming up shortly. FCCPC shuts down Abuja supermarket over violation. We'll bring you insights and details of this story and more after the break. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us. If you're just joining us, this is the News Hour on Trust Television. Let's take a look at our top stories again. 16 people feared killed by terrorist bomb in Borno. PDP National Executive Committee extends the Magun's tenure amidst simmering crisis. And to more stories. Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum has awarded scholarships worth 1.3 billion naira to 997 students of College of Nursing and Midwifery in Maiduguri. The governor, who announced this while commissioning a lecture theatre complex and a 30,000 capacity multi-purpose hall, also earmarked another 1.1 billion naira as monthly stipends for all students at the institution, with each beneficiary getting a sum of 30,000 naira throughout their study in the institution. He further added 201 million naira for the students, just over 2,000 of them. Each student is to be paid 100,000 naira only. He also directed automatic employment for scholarship students and best performing students.
With great opportunities come great responsibilities. Therefore, all scholarship recipients must understand that they are entering into a 5-year bond with the state government. During this period, they are expected to serve in their respective localities. This commitment is essential for ensuring that the benefits of their education directly contribute to the development and well-being of their communities. In addition to this one, I want to bring to your kind notice that Borno State Government has started constructing School of Nursing and Midwifery in Goza and Mongono local government areas of Borno State. Inshallah, these two institutions will be completed this year. And therefore, Borno State Government will partner with the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria to ensure their accreditation and take-up.
To these beneficiaries of the scholarship, I implore you to recognize the profound impact the government has invested in your education and training. You carry the aspiration of your communities on your shoulders, and I urge you to embrace diligence and hard work to not only justify this investment, but also bring pride to your families and respective communities through your service.
The College of Nursing Sciences in Maiduguri is hereby granted additional 2 years to train more basic midwives in order to curb the maternal mortality and morbidity in Borno State. Nationwide, this has been scrapped, but Borno State, by this gesture, awarded this opportunity to train for 2 years more.
The recent signing into law of the Students' Loan Scheme, a policy meant to help the youth from poor homes acquire tertiary education in Nigeria, has continued to be hailed as a welcome development. But while President Tinubu appears to be committed to the scheme, Benue residents are saying there may be grey areas the government is yet to clearly communicate to members of the public. Jimmy Azande reports.
According to data from the National Bureau of Statistics and the National Population Commission, Nigeria currently has a population of over 200 million. Unfortunately, more than half of this percentage are multidimensionally poor. Poverty aside, Benue residents say the loan scheme is a welcome development.
A lot of students need to find means of survival. So since the government can give them loan, and those loans will make them survive, it's a welcome development if the loans are fairly given.
After graduating from the high institution, there is no guarantee for job opportunities since the level of unemployment in the country is very high. So if the government should increase the year, it will give people the privilege and chance to settle down and find a job that suits their capacity to be able to provide the money in which they're supposed to repay to the government.
While some are wondering if the student loan policy can accommodate the demands of Nigerians for tertiary education, some are wary of the bottlenecks around the law, which they say might cause more harm than good.
If it is going to be possible, it will take a while because some of us here, after school, we don't even know if we are going to have a job. And if at all we are going to have a job, is it a job that will pay up to that amount that they give it to the federal government back? So if they say this law should be established or should be implemented, I think it will be very hard for most students who are supposed to be the benefit, the people who are going to benefit from this law. I think it will be very hard for them to benefit from it because of the state of things in this country. So I don't think it's really actually a good thing. I don't see the feasibility of that in such a place like this.
The government should try to create job opportunities for graduates who will be able to pay back this loan in due time.
Stakeholders in the educational sector are of the opinion that government can do better with other empowerment policies for the teeming youth.
Students are not expected to be giving loans, rather they expect to be giving grants or scholarship as a nation to assist them further their education. Because a student taking a loan will find it difficult to pay after he or she graduates. Government should imbibe in the culture of giving students scholarship while they are in school. And as they graduate, the issue of NYC of 18 or whatever should be abolished. Rather be giving grants in the name of trying to establish themselves and be on their own after they have graduated.
While it sounds good, the mode of repayment might become cumbersome in a country already battling with rising unemployment rate. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
The Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission on Thursday sealed For You supermarket in Abuja over unfair practices by its management. FCCPC officials took the action during an enforcement exercise in parts of the nation's capital. Officials of FCCPC were at several supermarkets in Abuja to initiate a campaign to enforce price display and quantity compliance. The move is a direct response to concerns raised by consumers about the rising costs of goods, which go against the recent strengthening of the naira against major currencies. The Commission said price discrepancies remain a significant issue. Acting Executive Vice Chairman, FCCPC, Adamu Abdullahi, at the raid on Thursday said it was shocking. Capris and stallion rice were still stocked and being sold in the supermarket years after the companies had stopped production.
Nobody knows that Stallion Group has been comatose for a very long time. We know that there is no Kappa rice, yet we ban Stallion and Kappa rice in this market. What's happening is that some people bag their own local rice, pretending that it is the same Stallion or Kappa that people are used to, that people are buying, which is wrong. You are still risking consumers. You are collecting from them what is not due.
The Edo Zonal Command of the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons has arrested a fake Reverend Sister over the alleged trafficking of 38 children in Delta State. It was gathered that the suspect, Ike Jimba Mary Vianney, alias Oluchi, aged 40, and one Chidera, now at large, handed over the children to 2 orphanage homes under the guise of giving them better care. The children, it was learned, were handed over to the suspects by their parents at a farm community in Enugu Oka Camp by Monastery, Ila, Delta State. Mary Vianney was reportedly arrested by the NAPTIP following a tip-off. When contacted, the NAPTIP Zonal Commander in Benin, Nduka Nwanwene, who confirmed the incident, said the suspect was in custody. He said the suspect claimed to be trained in Ghana as a Reverend Sister while their headquarters is in the Philippines. She said she came to meet the parents and persuaded them to allow their children to follow them to their orphanage homes, adding that they would be given better care. Nasiru Haladu Danu, a businessman, has been crowned as the Sardauna of Dutse by the Dutse Emirate Council. The conferment of the title followed the death of the previous title holder, Maitama Bello. Before his elevation to the title of Sardauna, Danu held the title of Dan Amanar Dutse, conferred on him by the late Emir Nuhu Muhammad Sanusi on May 4, 2017. The official conferment of the title of Danu was held at the uphill Emir's Palace in Garu, Dutse, and was attended by former President Muhammadu Buhari as special guest of honor and Governor Namadi as the guest of honor. Danu is a renowned Nigerian businessman and influential figure in politics and embodies leadership and philanthropy. He is the chairperson of the Kasiva Limited and the founder and CEO of Nasiru Danu Foundation. The Bayelsa State government on Wednesday received a donation of 6 water ambulances from the United Nations Children's Fund and the Global Alliance for Vaccine and Immunization as support to the state health sector in order to boost immunization and primary care delivery services in riverine areas. Receiving the boats at the government jetty in Yenagoa, the state governor, Doye Diri, while appreciating UNICEF and Gavi, noted that the ambulances will help in delivering quality and prompt healthcare services in the affected areas. Trustee Friday Ebimoboe Peter completes the report.
The governor, who was represented by his deputy Lawrence Richakmo, assured the agencies of effective use to complement the drone drug service system operated by the state.
You know, Bayelsa is about 70% riverine, and so these water ambulances are actually a shot on the arm for our commitment towards getting health to the people where they live and getting the people to health where they live. And so what that has added to us is additional impetus, a little more fuel to our engine of delivering primary health care and immunization services.
The deputy governor further revealed that the state, in its quest to provide quality health care to its citizens, is creating a Department of Nutrition and seeking the partnership with UNICEF in terms of providing a field office for the state for better coordination of our policies.
Bayelsa State is the only state that the drone system to deliver vaccines are consumable to our various health centers. But with this ambulance, it will make our job much easier and more effective. So we are grateful and believe that Bayelsans and glory to God.
On her part, the UNICEF country representative in Nigeria, Christian Madrid, commended the state government for her milestone in the healthcare delivery services in the state, has appealed for more citizen involvement in immunization of children in the state.
We appeal to all the communities, to all the local authorities at the very primary community level, all the traditional leaders, all the authorities, to commit, to make a change, to revert these numbers. It's not huge numbers, you know, because in some other places we are talking about millions of children. So we would dream, we want to dream, and hopefully Bayelsa will be the first state that can say we have 100% of our children immunized.
The deputy governor also called for better nutrition for children as well as adequate immunization to boost their healthcare status. From Yenagoa, Friday Ebimoboe Peter, Trust TV News, Yenagoa.
And on to the southeast region, the governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, has again reiterated his zero tolerance for corrupt practices among government officials. He stated these while addressing the newly appointed officials during a retreat organized for them by the Imo State government in Owerri, the state capital. The call is coming at a time residents of the state are seriously yearning for government's interventions in solving the numerous problems they are facing. Trustee Ajibade Praise was there and filed in this report.
These appointees are a set of technocrats and professionals newly appointed by Governor Hope Uzodinma to work with him in his second tenure. While some of them are to serve as commissioners of ministries, others are appointed as special advisors to the governor in key aspects of governance. Uzodinma urges them to look beyond what they will gain and focus on what they will offer to the state by way of service and endeavor to shun all forms of sharp practices.
Whether you have been here before or you are just coming, we should see ourselves as one united team, ready to work and also to work collectively towards offering exceptional service to the people of Imo State.
Some of the residents, while speaking on the choice of the governor's appointment, told Trust TV their challenges and called for immediate intervention.
To, be more creative in what you are doing, because Imo State belongs to everyone. So if they are not doing well, it will still affect Imo Light. So this is the time I'm urging them or advising them to put more effort in what they are doing.
Thank you very much.
We thank God for the governor's appointment, and my advice to the appointees is for them to work really hard and make sure that Imo gets the dividends for democracy.
And economic challenge is inherent this time around. Cost of commodities are on the far side, so people are expecting something that will make them come alive, see that there is food on their table.
The expectation is the same thing that everywhere, meaning Imo Lights or Imo residents will expect. Something that we are expecting from the new appointee is that they should deliver on the dividends of democracy, make sure that they provide dividends of democracy.
The governor, on his part, said his intention is to surpass his past records and deliver better dividends of democracy to his people.
The opportunity to serve the public is a call from history, a chance to make your mark, to serve diligently and selflessly, and then you will leave a legacy that history will honor. But if you focus on enriching yourself, I can assure you, you will be forgotten.
While people of Imo State look forward to a much more rewarding second tenure, it is hoped that the state government will match words with actions and deliver on promises made to the people. Ajibade Praise, Trust TV News, Owerri.
And in business, let's join Yusuf Akogu for some business news.
Welcome to Business News. I am Yusuf Akogu. The Central Bank of Nigeria has denied using the foreign reserves to defend the naira. Data from FMDQ Security Exchange shows that the CBN has only sold $581 million in the official market. The CBN sales account for only 3.2% of the total market turnover of $17.94 billion in the same period. The central bank has also sold about $60 million to BDCs over the last 2 months since it resumed dollar sales to them this year. Nigeria's foreign reserves fell to a 7-year low in April, shedding $2.16 billion in 1 month to now stand at $32.29 billion from $34.45 billion. The Comptroller of Customs Area Command at Tinkan Island Port, Dera Nandi, has reported that the command generated 303.9 billion naira in revenue during the first quarter of 2024. This figure represents a 139% increase compared to the same period in 2023. The announcement was made in a statement issued on Wednesday in Lagos, signed by Public Relations Officer of TICP, NN Okwara. He noted that the command collected 100.03 billion naira in revenue in February 2024, marking a 141.8% increase from the 41.5 billion generated in February 2023. While for March 2024, revenue collected reached 115.1 billion naira compared to 42.8 billion naira recorded in March 2023. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has projected Nigeria's public debt to gross domestic product ratio to reach 46.6% in 2024 and 46.8% in 2025. The This represents a 0.3 percent point and 0.5 percent point growth when compared with the IMF projection for 2023. The IMF disclosed this in a fiscal monitor for April titled Fiscal Policy in the Great Election Year. The Bretton Woods institution also downgraded the country's fiscal balance to GDP ratio to minus 4.6% in 2024 from minus 4.2% in 2023. According to the IMF, large shares of loans on concessional terms, high inflation, and resulting favorable interest growth differentials had helped contain average public debt to GDP ratios in low-income developing countries at around 50% of GDP since 2020 on average. The Nigerian equities market returned to negative territory on Thursday on the back of profit taken by investors. The local bourse failed to hold on to the gain of the previous trading session. Let's see how it ended out today. Some of the losing equities that we have today leading the table. We have Cornhall PLC down 9.70% to close at ₦1.21 per share. Computer Warehouse Group CWG down 9.52% to close at ₦5.70 per share. Of course, UCAP also ended on the negative side, 9.23% it ended to close at ₦18.20 per share. And of course, this has dragged down the market downward by 0.06%, a marginal loss you say, but it's very, very significant. Volume of trade 285.905 million shares, value at 5.542 billion naira in a days of 7,726 did exchange hands among investors this Thursday. Of course, looking at some of the top trading equities, Access Corporation leading that table, 43.979 million shares it traded. JITCO 32.790 million shares, and of course, United Bank for Africa UBA 28.44 5 million shares it did traded as well. Of course, we have some equities that recorded gains despite the market closing negative. Guinness leading that table there, 10% it gained to close at 55 naira per share. Nymet, an insurance company, 9.76%. It ended ₦1.80 per share. It ended. Morrison up there, 9.73%, ₦3.72 per share. It ended. That's the highlight of the stock trading as it went down this Thursday on the floor of NGS. Let's see the global stock market for today. Now to the FX market. Naira braced key resistance against dollar on various platforms on Thursday as it continues to trade within 1,000 naira per dollar. Here are today's market data. Oil prices fell to a 3-week low on Thursday, extending losses on hopes of easing tension in the key production region of the Middle East, while investors turned their focus to a bleaker demand picture. At the London market, European Brent sells for $86 per barrel. For the oil basket, price increases to $90 per barrel. And that's business. I am Yusuf Akogu.
Thank you, Yusuf Akogu. And now away from Nigeria, Kenya's defense chief and 9 other top brass died on Thursday in a military helicopter crash in a remote area of the country, President William Ruto said. The president, who had convened an urgent meeting of the National Security Council after news of the accident emerged, said 9 other gallant military personnel on board were also killed, while 2 survived. He said the Kenya Air Force has dispatched an air investigation team to establish the cause of the crash, which took place in Elgeyo Marakwet County, about 400 kilometers northwest of the capital, Nairobi. The helicopter crashed shortly after takeoff from Chesagan, where he and his entourage had been visiting a school, Reuters said. Reuters announced 3 days of mourning from Friday, with official flags flying at half-mast. He said Ogola, 61, had left Nairobi on Thursday morning on an Air Force Hugh helicopter to visit troops deployed in the North Rift area in Operation Maliza Uhalifu, Operation End Crime in Swahili, and other sites. Still on the foreign scene, Burkina Faso's military government has expelled 3 French diplomats, accusing them of subversive activities. The diplomats, including 2 political advisors, were given 48 hours to leave the country. The specifics of the alleged activities were not disclosed. The move further strains relations between Burkina Faso and France since the military junta took power in 2022. The junta has previously expelled French troops, recalled the French ambassador, and suspended some French media outlets. Sources suggest the expulsion may be related to meetings the diplomats had with civil society members. And for some sports news, let's join Adeni Ajisafe.
Despite the abundant talents that abound in sports across Nigeria, some Nigerian athletes find it hard to participate because they lack access to facilities, training kits, better welfare and reward package, injury recovery plan, and among others that hamper their development. The need to bridge this gap is what prompted Hand to Hand Sport Foundation to organize a one-day exhibition game in handball at the Handball Court, Old Parade Ground, Abuja. The exhibition, conducted in a round-robin form where points are used to determine winners, had 5 teams, namely the defenders, safety shooters, correctional boys, Yanya All-Stars, and Suleja shooters, who all displayed their skills happily at the games. Training kits and shoes were distributed to a young boxing team, while the handballers received shoes and kits to boost their performance and also encourage them to do well in their sporting career. One of the young boxers appreciated the gesture and called for more support to help develop other sports.
And I love the gesture that Hand to Hand gives to us. And we really like that they want to sponsor our boxing. But we really wish we can have more sponsors, because it's not only football that people love putting support in football and for sake of that sport. But football is not football. I'm not saying football is not united. It's a nice sport, but boxing is also a very good and very good martial arts. So I really like it.
Handballer Musa Mohammed advised the youth to believe in themselves while engaging in sports.
Have the passion, just like me, because I'm also an upcoming star. Is don't give up, just keep pushing, non-stop, and I promise you will stop.
The organizer believes Nigerian sport needs support from private sector to help talented athletes. While speaking on future plans for promoting sport, he called on Nigerians at home and in diaspora to find a way to add value to sport development in Nigeria.
We are organizing this competition not just also to give them the equipment, also to assure them that we are working on getting a regular competition going for them so they can be playing regularly. Because these are the senior teams. We already did for under 12 and under 15 a long time ago, but now these are the senior teams, handball teams, and also we also called also on the boxers. They are young kids from between the age of 11 to 16. They are very, very good boxers. They are young kids. We also pick them from different areas of life.
Abonifo said more sporting events will be given attention in the next edition. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajisafe.
You're up to speed with some of the emerging and re-emerging stories across Nigeria and beyond. And with that, we've come to the end of the news hour on Trust Television. But do not forget, you can always follow us across all of our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news programs and documentary. On behalf of myself and the news production team, I am Aisha Salihu. Have a good night.